Hi guys, this is Annette with ANNETTE'S Astrology Corner, and this is your daily horoscope and energy reading for September 6th. And Venus goes direct in Leo at about 1:30 today, and this is of course Pacific time. So I'm going to give you guys a general reading. I did do a monthly reading for you guys just to give you an overall perspective. I'm going to go through and do quick readings for each sign. And I will separate those and let you guys know when they start so that you can get an idea of how this Venus going direct in Leo for you, specifically for your sun, moon, and rising sign, will be projected to be for this month. So, generally, in a general aspect, we have a lot of energies at play. So we still got to talk about Sunday, because Sunday still is a day about the overall energies. So the overall energies is that Venus in Leo is going to be speeding up. It's going to go direct. So we allow about 2 days for that energy source to become maximum, to get to its fullest potential. And so, it's like when you work out, and then when you work out, you kind of feel like you're still tired all the time. And those first 2 days afterwards, it's like you're tired and then you're recovering. And then the second day is like, holy crap, every muscle in my body that was utilized by that experience, that working out experience, just now understood how much it's not been utilized. So you have that 2 day of like, it's revving up the energy, it's breaking it down, it's getting it going again, it's turning back around. So allow the 2 days for it to really manifest and just get big, right? And just to flourish. So, Venus is going to be in quincunx with Pluto and Capricorn, so in Leo. So this has something to do with pulling yourself back out of the past. Your ego is associated with this. So what you used to give your power to, I think at this point you understand that you can't give your power to it anymore. Because if you give your power to pulling yourself back in the past, it is a painful and absolutely brutal experience for you. For you, there is a death, there's a letting go, there is a turning away from something in your past that you have to in order to get to the next level in your life. For you to start planting new seeds and getting a new beginning, a brand new beginning. So, there's a sense of getting away with something, I think, for the majority of you, or somebody may have got away with something, and that it's not fair that they got away with that. So you're going to have this Plutonian quincunx experience with like, it's not fair, I love that person, I miss that person, or, there's an extreme loss. They are moving on, and it is very difficult to face that they are having a new beginning in their life. So many of you could be feeling that Plutonian experience. Now, this is that 2 day ramping up period where Venus, the energies go all around and they start to get pumped up in that particular aspect. So I can't say that there's a whole lot of pleasure associated with this unless you want to train it out and have it be about your ego. So if you want this to be about your ego, well, okay, let's put it this way. There are two types of people that this is going to impact. There's the people that experienced loss. There was delusion. There was a narcissistic relationship. They got away with it, and they are getting a new beginning. And you think that there's a great injustice in that. And, there's some anguish over that for you. I do feel for the majority of you, you understand that even if it's a person that got away with something and, it seems as though they look back and they feel like they got the better of you, I think you're making peace with that. There's a balance in knowing that that is their personal journey and that is their experience, and that you need to let that go because you're creating your own reality. This is about making your world the present world, not about looking back at the past and thinking that they got away with something. This is about you making your own personal journey, your own new beginning with the new data that you have. You have analyzed it, setting up new routines. And again, this is that whole Saturn in Scorpio, sextiling the North Node in Libra and trining the South Node in Aries. So you're taking your predisposed wiring and you're making the best of it, and you're making it a little easier for you to find some balance in the situation. So for me, analytically, since I have a South Node in Virgo and my North Node is in Pisces, I can look at it. Dreamy is like, it's a new beginning, it's a new start. I get to maybe have Gerard Butler. Let's say something like that. And he's beautiful and he's sweet and he's sexy, and you know what? He has a lot of charisma, but he loves, like, I have this idealistic view, this Neptunian view about it. And right now, Chiron is really, really supporting and really trying to heal the psychological wounds. And in order to do that, it has to support a little bit of this idealistic view that you have. And even though it's in retrograde, and even though you know reality is, it's probably not that. It's just the hope. It's just the dream of it. But you know that dreams are dreams. You know that hopes are hopes. You're not delusional at this point, right? And so when this happens, you're going to be looking at your first house, and it's going to be in Cancer. This is in your home and family. So you really want a nurturing environment. You're really attaching to your home and family. You're really, you know, even if love wasn't the end all be all, maybe that's what you lost. You're seeing opportunity for what it is. You know that there's a place that you can optimally strive for. So you want to tune into Neptune energy, especially Chiron in Neptune energy during this day. You want to think that there's a fertile ground to plant some soil on. Look, if you're ascending faster than your twin flame, let's say, and you know that your twin flame is, you know, kind of stuck on their South Node wiring, and it seems like they're getting away with it, then you need to look back and understand that you need to take what you can get out of that, and you need to move forward, and you need to leave behind the idealistic picture that you had with that person, because in the end, it's about a celebration and triumph for you internally. It's about seeing the fact that you can overcome this. You know, there has to be a death to that relationship, that thought process, an ending, a letting go, of a shedding of what happened to you, for you to take a look at hope and new things, and to understand it in a really big picture of, like, if you were to take all of this energy, if you were to look at your life right now, there's a purpose for where you are at right now. There's a faith. There's a need to be right at this moment. And you need to really absorb the fact that there's something to learn from very bad things, and there is something to take from it, and there are jewels. There is such a harvest. There is gold to be found in pain. There is gold to be found in loss. You know, I talked to a client and she speaks to me, and I hope she watches this, because I have thought about you every single day. And she had told me that she had had a great loss in her life, and he stuck with me. The loss that she disclosed stuck with me, and he protects her now, and he helps her psychologically. And I'm gonna get choked up because I have felt him, you know, thanking her for all of her efforts. So even if you experience great losses, even if you experience things that cause you to experience sadness, death, tremendous, and when I'm talking about losses, I'm talking about losses that were absolute death endings. They can never you can never get that back again. There is tremendous beginnings in letting go of some of that and taking the fruits of that. So there's, even though there was this loss, it was a gain, because, you know, I don't believe we truly lose loved ones. I believe that they just go to a different realm in life, and that they help us, and they are there for us, and they connect to us in spirit, and they connect as, and there are guides. There are, when we're alone at night, they soothe our aches and our pains, and they hold us. And if you can really connect to the fact that life is full of endings and new beginnings and opportunities, then and this is an unexpected awareness of this. This is the awakening part of, this is some of the beauty of the awakening. Yes, awakening can be ascension symptoms and struggle, and it can be strife, and it can be a sense of, sometimes you want to turn away from the struggle of ascension because it's hard work, and sometimes you want to face it, you see it for the plentiful gift it is, but you're looking at the obstacle for what it is, and it's scary and it's overwhelming. I think at times these can be very, all of this energy pulling you forward. You know, you're molding your world. You know that you are your clay. That at this point you're feeling all this Virgo energy, and you're redefining how you identify your world and the universe that you're revolving everything around. And Jupiter is going in, and it's expanding, and it's creating opportunity and growth, and but sometimes opportunity is scary. It's kind of like when you've been in in four walls for so long, and you go to the door and you see the light and you open the door. It's almost like if you've been in that box, that dark box, long enough, that dark box is your familiar chaos, right? Your familiar world. But if you open that door, the world is so big and scary. It's like you don't know how can you go out into that? That's when you need to look back. You need to know that you're strong. You need to know that this is a slow process, and you need to relish in the fact that you just take one step at a time. You have the dark days and you have the light days, and they both are energetically going to get you in the middle. So don't allow these days not to look. Take all of the dark days and get what you need to get out of those sources, because there is beauty to be found in all of that. So I'm going to give you guys, for your individual signs, I'm going to give you guys a quick little reading on each sign to let you know how your month is going to go, specifically in the love arena. And I look forward to being right back. Hi Aries, this is your Venus direct forecast, and for you, Venus is going direct in your 5th house, and I want to give a specific reading for this energy source, and we can go with it and see how this all works out. I don't know, it's new to me, I'm just giving it a whirl. So for you, I feel that you are on a journey. You are overcoming a tremendous obstacle. You are it's almost like you are taking your family to a safe route. You are elevating your awareness of the loved ones around you. So for you, when I say that Venus goes direct in Leo in your 5th house, this is about, you've been going through the motions of what your family needs, but you're forgetting about the connection that you have to romantic idealism, and to pleasure, and to feeling energetically buzzed by your partner. So I think some of you are going to be looking at, you're balancing out, I think ideally, you know that you're the head of your household, that you are the person that provides what your family needs. I mean, you're the stability in your household. Any Aries person is the absolute head of that household. So how that family moves forward is energetically connected to how you lead that family. So for you, if you want to have a beautiful family filled with everything that you want, then you need to seek some internal balance and to let go of some of your ego and your boastful nature. You need to be humble. You need to seek strength in other people's vulnerabilities, and the fact that you are the protector. So they need to feel safe enough to come to you about when they're vulnerable, and you need to not make them feel like they're less than for doing that. Even if this is a female and a male, and you are the head of the household, so you are female in a masculine role, you need to not, and the male in your life is the female in your life, you need to not demasculate them. Like, you need to make this about them feeling safe enough to come to you. You are going to be leading by example. There has been a lot of energy, especially the Pluto-Uranus squares. We're all about revamping the way that you take a look at everything. So, like, say if you're a female in the male role, you're the head of the household, then actually let some of the vulnerability of the female energy into your life and balance out the masculine and the feminine energy. I would say that this actually goes for males as well. You want to balance out the masculine need to conquer and to have your ego stroked versus a protective, nurturing side of you. So there's a sense that at some point for you to get romantically connected with who you're with, that you need to at times take a look at the simplistic part of your household, and you need to make some changes in the fact that you need to energetically connect with others on a vulnerable level and validate them for being vulnerable in their trials and tribulations. And that will make you stronger, and they will seek your power more, and you will become more the leader in their life that you want to be. And I think if you are single and you're pursuing somebody and you want to, find somebody to balance out your masculine energy, then seek somebody who's very feminine, and don't forget to validate the fact that they have feminine energy. And it doesn't matter if it's a female or a male, they need to be able to embrace their feminine and masculine energy in this process. Taurus, this is your Venus goes direct specific video just for you, and I want to give you a little energetic reading just for all my little Taurians out there. So Venus goes direct in your 4th house, and for you, I just think you have this gorgeous, idealistic look at love, and you really want that. You know what you want at this point. You know how that it is a process to get it. I think for many of you, there were many opportunities that you shunned and you were almost bored with because, you had idealized something from your past, and, and it was something that had brought you to the level socially that you wanted to. It had given you the possessions. So simplistically, it's really hard for you to take the humble person, the person that can't socially get you to the status that you want and attain the possessions. And I think you are deliberating with that. I think what you're trying to do at this point with this Venus going direct in your 4th house, this is in home and family, I think you need to take a look at how do you really feel full in your home and family. Now, this is in your heart. This is in Leo energy. So, and it's in your home and family 4th house. So this has a lot to do with not turning your back on somebody based on the fact that they don't have actual tangible goods to offer you to elevate your lifestyle, to get you to the status that you desire. This is about looking at a soulmate connection. This is about humbling down your expectations of what you want in a partner. And this isn't about an exchange of ideals more than tangible earthly things. This is about actually working together to get what you want. This isn't about one person having a lifestyle that could get you to the next level. I think for the majority of you, this is about taking back how you seek partners and taking a look at it and thinking, I need to base my life around just the actual love of the person and not the elevated status that they could give me. I think it's a reality check in how you view home and family. I think that you now know that being stingy with what you want in life and holding to that ideal based on material earnings actually stands in the way of people that can actually fulfill you mentally. And I think that if you let go of all of that turmoil of, this is my ideal family with this big house, and we make both this income together, and that gives me the lifestyle that I want. I think at this point you're still holding on to relinquishing some of that. I think at some point you're understanding that there is something having to do with a humble new beginning, and you have been humbled, and for that person to appreciate you at the status that you are. There could be somebody that just has such an elevated status in your life that you don't almost feel worthy, and so you're holding back and you're almost going to turn away from that opportunity because, I think there's some vulnerability in the fact of where you currently are in your life. For some of those, that's a very real possibility. I think you just need to be confident in the fact that if you can open your heart and really love somebody for who they truly are, it can give you this family and this stability that you desire. But I think this has to be on a twin flame or a soulmate connection. You really can't go after somebody who's karmically going to be a lesson for you. So really pay attention to what the Venus retrograde said to you and how it spoke to you and where it emphasized, because that was showing you what necessarily not to do, where your vulnerabilities lie. And then I want you to really, there's something so perfect right before your eyes that I think you're almost too stubborn at this point to see, because it involves you having to build something with that person into a slower process. But this is soulmate. I see a soulmate very soon in your life. And I see it building the family unit that you want, but you've got to stop holding back and you've got to stop turning away from the possible opportunity that is actually there, and stop holding on to fear, paranoia, and just being hesitant to combine and share your life with somebody and share your resources. Hi, Gemini. This is your Venus Goes Direct forecast. Specifically for you, I'm going to start doing readings for big energies that shift and seeing energetically where you lie. And for you, this Venus goes direct in Leo in your third house. So to me, this has something to do with love and romance, but it also, and how you identify and seek pleasure, but it also has to do with your third house. So for you, this is the love of the talk. This is matching action with words, because you guys can talk a good talk, but walking the talk is very difficult for you, because to keep on a steady path and get both your twins on board walking the same path is super hard for you. So let's talk about this journey that I see with Venus going to direct in your third house. So I think there's a need to pull back. At this point for you, there's a need to process some of the things. There's a need to not accept. Look, at this stage, you're trying to figure things out. You're on your own personal journey. you know, you are holding yourself back. There's a vulnerability in you that, you know, I think you're willing to take the blinders off and walk forward and gain some personal power, but I almost think sometimes you are directionless in this particular area. And so you seek knowledge and you seek others to tell you what to do. The problem is that your ruler, Mercury, goes into retrograde in Libra in your 5th house and in love and romance. So who you normally seek for guidance, which is partners and love interests and romantic and relationships, aren't going to give you the clarity that you need. This has something to do with an internal balance guidance system that is directly inside of yourself. So this has something to do specifically with your own personal journey and that ride, that particular road that you're on. So this is about seeking personal power and removing the shackles that you have put on yourself due to poor coping methods. I think this is a need to hide. You like to hide yourself away, but you actually know that you're not getting away with it. There's actually no benefit to it. So there's finding the peace and the tranquility and maybe pulling back, and this being a private journey, not taking everybody on your road, not communicating about it. Because when you try to communicate about it, it's not very effective for you because, you know, Mercury's in retrograde, so your talks maybe can be self-defeating. So for you, this is about just pulling back, finding inner peace. This is about going into your mind. This is about analyzing where you've been. This is about looking out at your life. This is about looking at the expansive energetic flow of your life at this point, where it is right now. And this is about seeking a new journey, seeking a new time. This is a turning point for you. This is not about getting away with it and saying what you got to say. This is about setting up routines and changing your life path destiny, especially in the realms of love and romance. For the next 2 years, Saturn is going to be in your 7th house. This is the house of partnerships, marriages, unions, and, you know, this is the house of combining yourself. So this is a big journey. So you have so many opportunities right now, right before you. This is discouraging for you. You don't know which one to pick. And, you know, the one that you really want is just stable. It makes you feel good on the inside. It's earth-based. It's not an energy that is atypical for you. There's a lot of pain that's associated with this particular individual and that particular situation. So there's a lot to be learned from that. And I don't think it's somebody that you feel that's entirely attainable at this point. So the hard part for you is there is somebody that you feel that could expand you in a positive direction, but this person is not open to you. And so there's a sense of you having to do this on your own. It was like you were it's like you were codependent at some point on a person, and that person saw you for what you are and doesn't want anything to do with you. And so for you, this is about, you know, you have all these wonderful opportunities before you, but you are turning your back on them because there's this person that made a really big impact on the way that you think that you can't have. And it's making you rethink your journey in love, romance, and actually how you communicate with others and what you want for this idealistic home and family situation. So for you, you're pulling back. I think for many, many, many of you, it's about just seeking a simplistic view of where you want to be. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Hi Cancers, this is Annette, and I am going to give you your energetic reading for this Venus that goes in direct in your 2nd house. This is all in Leo energy. So Leo energy is energy that is, you know, it is ego-oriented, but it's not just ego-oriented. It's about centralizing your authentic purpose. It's about setting up your destiny. And for you, this is all happening in your second house. So this is about how you value yourself, how you value others, and this is about setting boundaries, I think, for you. Absolutely setting boundaries. And the reason I say this is because it seems to me that most of the Cancers that I know have a problem with when they are in love or when they are in partnership with others. They tend to shackle or mold their lives to meet their partners because there's a fear of loss and there's a fear of pain associated with every relationship if you've been in relationships long enough to have lost one at some point. So for you, you're ready to have a new beginning. You're ready to have something start and flourish in your life. You have enough knowledge to to associate that there is a value within inside of you that others may not see, because in the past you molded yourself and you had loose boundaries. You had you just let people run all over you, and you almost gave your power away in relationships. And that's because emotionally it was easier. It was easier for you to give them what they want. But now there's a strength. There's a strength in knowing what you want. There's a strength in the fact that you want a soulmate connection, and that and you're very simple in the needs of your relationships. You know now that you have something to give that is very, very powerful, and it's something that could bring a great stability to a relationship. It's not like you're sitting here licking old wounds anymore and that you're holding back. You don't want to hold back anymore. You want to move forward, and you've created and had enough self-reflection to create boundaries that will empower you in relationships and not make you succumb to them. And this was a very long process for you. You went through a lot of hard knock school in the Pluto-Uranus squares, in your heart, in the way that you value, in the way that you seek pleasure, in the power that you give others. So for you, this is very, very big. And I think for some of you, this has to do because Mercury is going into retrograde into Libra in your 4th house. So this is how you've got some cleaning up to do. You've set an ideal for family members that if they do these behaviors, you'll succumb. And so now you're at the point where you want to make new beginnings in that. It's not about creating that idealistic home and family anymore. It's about seeking balance. It's about getting back as much as you give. And so for you, you have something to give. You know that it is precious, and that not everybody has it. There's a gift that you have, and you have your peers to provide that too. So there's a sense of confidence. I think that you guys are starting to get back in your lives about the fact of what you have to give others. There's an absolute knowing that a soulmate is coming for you, Cancers. Absolutely. When I'm talking about in how you value yourself, there's somebody that's going to value you. You know it. So you don't want to settle anymore for the people that take your power away and actually devalue you, actually reduce that power that you know that is special in you. You're not crazy because you're a nurturer. You're not crazy because you're emotional. There is somebody that you know that's going to value those things. In a world that's emotionless, it's really, really great to know that there are people that actually have freaking emotions and that can validate your emotions. So they can be vulnerable with you, and you can be vulnerable with them, and you can seek power together. And nobody's taking away anybody's power by doing that. And that's what you're idealizing at this point. And that's what you want. And you're willing to get it, and you're willing to set up really, really healthy routines and communicate those boundaries effectively at this point. I really see this for you. Again, there's no holding back anymore what you idealize. This is about getting what you want and only settling for that next soulmate connection. This isn't even about karmic relationship anymore. We're not talking about, I think there's a fear. There's a fear that if you go out into the world and that you seek love in your home and family, that you will fall into a shackled relationship again, full of pain and disempowering feelings. But I think that we at this point know that that's not the way that it's going to roll with you anymore, that you've set enough healthy boundaries and standards that's just not where it's going to go. You have something to give, and you are seeking validation in that process. You now know healthy boundaries are the only way to go. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to Annette's Astrology Corner, and I will talk to you guys again during the next astrological event. Hi guys. This is your Leo energetic reading for Venus going in direct in Leo in your first house. And for you, I think you're still dealing at some point with a very real pain, a very painful experience, something that psychologically has impacted you. It's hurt your heart, it's hurt your soul, and it's hurt your mind. And this is how you're outwardly appearing. Now, to get your soul, your universe, your sun to reflect outwardly is very difficult. It's a process. And for you, Saturn, for the next couple of years, is going to be working in romantic relationships, in pleasure seeking, and in how you initially come off in love. So how you initially come off in love is not as vulnerable as your actual sun may be in life. So for you, you are exuding a confidence. There is an amount of you that you have this strong defeating presence, but I think for you, humbly, you know that although you have had a victory in your life, I think internally getting that Virgo sun that we have right now on board with this Leo first house energy, I think there's a vulnerability. There's a vulnerability in some of your routines. There's a vulnerability in the fact that there are some things that you still need to fine tune, and that actually causes you to at some point experience in the depths of your own mind, in the dark crevices, and actually in the night hours, the deep hours, some vulnerability, some deep vulnerability in where you're at right now. So psychologically, I think getting yourself on board with how you outwardly appear is going to be a process for you, because what you've been through for the last quite some time has been very devaluing mentally. It has hurt your pride. It has took away some of your luster and your childlike enthusiasm. So I think you hold back at this point still. I think you are reserved. I think that even though you exude confidence and are willing to go out into the world and show the world what you're made of, there's a hesitation that you feel, and that is getting your first house, how you outwardly appear to others, to reflect what you inwardly appear. There's a vulnerability. And then if you are vulnerable, how will others see that? And it's a psychological process that I don't think that you let everybody know, because there's a certain amount of pride that comes with the Leo and the Lion. There can be no fear when you are out on the hunt and when people are trying to put the power into you and you are to become the leader that you were always destined to be. There's a vulnerability, and I think some of this stems back from childhood issues. And I've talked a lot about this. I think that by being real and communicating where you're at is probably not the it's not the supported energy because Mercury goes into retrograde in Libra, which is in your 3rd house. So this is a private journey for us. This is for the next couple of years. We're going to attract partners that may prey on some of this. I know that I seem confident outwardly, but internally I have some vulnerabilities, and I'm really seeking only a love interest or a partner or a romantic endeavor that really doesn't tempt me to appear like something that I'm not. So I know I'm going to be honest with you because I love honesty. It's like my favorite thing in the whole world. And outwardly, I appear strong. I appear confident because I'm a Leo on the cusp of Cancer, and I actually have 5 placements of Leo. So I have a lot of Leo energy in me. So I actually identify with the reading very much here, and it's a personal, actually very personal message for me because I think it's speaking to me as much as it's speaking to the fellow Leos out there. We see opportunity, we see expansion, and we are ready to take it, and we are ready to drink from that cup, and we are ready to let that, we're starting at 0 at this point. So we've had enough ego removed that we're starting at 0, but we can't let people know that we are starting at 0. We can't let them know how vulnerable we are. We are holding back some information because it's our own private personal journey that we do in our own deep, dark moments. And, you know, we really are attaching to childlike enthusiasm because that's what's accepted and that's what's known by others. And there's a sense of overconfidence with outwardly, but there's this need to provide strength for others. There is a greater good to what we're doing. There's an absolute greater good to what we're doing. It's not that we're ego-based and that we want to put on the false persona. It's that we need to show people that there is strength and perseverance and overcoming and bringing confidence to others and influencing others through showing them that you can be confident even while you are experiencing emotional pain. And there's a need to look at this simple life and to really, really suck in the triumphant small defeats that is internal. And there's a need to look back on it and think, yeah, I did that, and that was all me, and I overcame it, and I'm very proud of myself. It's getting that outward appearance of I'm confident, I'm strong, I'm an entertainer, I'm engaging, to get on board with the psychological world of getting your childlike enthusiasm back, not holding back, and persevering over the painful situations that you've just endured. Thank you guys for tuning in to your personal energetic reading for this Venus going direct, and I look forward to talking to you guys again on the next astrological event. Hi Virgo, this is your specific energetic reading for Venus going direct in your specific sign. So for you, Venus goes direct in Leo, which is in your 12th house. 12th house is the darkest realms of your psychological process. It's the unconscious realms that you live in. So I want to talk to you a lot because you are a very big focus in this eclipse season. And for you, this solar eclipse that's going to be in Virgo is a new beginning in your 1st house. So anybody who has a birthday around the 12th or the 13th, this is a big new beginning, and it will set the stage for the entire freaking year. So not only is this a solar eclipse in your sign, but it's a solar eclipse specifically designed for those people born between the 12th and the 13th to give them a rebirth in a specific area. So I don't think I emphasize that enough in my quick little monthly, so I'm going to give it to you in my daily. So, and for you, this is all in your 1st house. This is a revamp of how you appear to others. This is getting more confident. This is a new beginning. Really, honestly, it's like you have the genie and you can rub the lamp, right? And it is specifically designed for you. So this is good Good news. So rub that lamp, and how you appear to others. How do you want to appear to others? You know, do you want more friends? Do you want to exude confidence? Do you want to exude a good time? Do you want to be mutable but confident? Like, what do you want? Because the genie is in your hand right now, and you can rub it. And right around, I would say right around the 12th. Within that week time frame, start rubbing your genie and I would make a vision board, and I would really, really, really wrap my head around what I truly want inevitably. But let's talk about Venus going direct in the 12th house. And I always tie in Saturn in the 4th house the next couple years, and Jupiter's going to be in your 1st house for this whole year. So there's a lot going on with so getting your unconscious realms on board with how you appear to others for the next year, and then what you want for your home and family. That's a lot of stuff to take in. So let's just talk about for right now, specifically Venus going direct in your 12th house. For you, you're really looking at somebody that you can reveal your innermost self to, the wounds, the psychological wounds that you have, and that they will follow you and appreciate you for the vulnerability that you have. You know, a past doesn't actually define somebody, and our past is something that we learn from, ideally, for very reflective souls. And so if you have open somebody up to the most vulnerable parts of you, or if they have endured a length of time with you when you were at a vulnerable state, then they probably saw the worst part of you. And I think there's some shame associated with that, but they are willing to follow you still. So I think there's some validating that needs to come from those people that have known you through thick and thin, and you need to take a look back at them and think, wow, they were somebody really big in my life, and I didn't validate them enough at the time because I was pretty ashamed of where I was at. But you know, maybe I need to take a look back, and I think you probably did during the Venus in retrograde. There was probably somebody that stuck out to you that has really made an impact on you, and you opened some of your vulnerabilities, and they actually didn't judge you for the vulnerabilities, and that's a pretty important thing. I think for some of you're at a point of reflection, you're at a transition, you're at a fork in the road, and you're up in your attic, and you're going through all of your old boxes. I always call the 12th house the attic. And you're up in your attic, and you're taking a look around, and you're revisiting memories. So there was very joyous times that you had in your life where you were at an idealistic point of strength in your life. And I think for those of you, it was when you felt most virile and alive and appreciated, and you know, you're idealizing that specific time in your life. But I don't think that's initially a point of power as much as it's a point to strive for. You want to seek I think at this point you know that there's a balance between the good time you and the realistic, hardworking person that you are. There is an air of confidence about where your journey is going, about how you identify yourself, and you almost feel kind of like a lone wolf. This is an ego-based energy, and I think when Venus goes in direct and Mercury goes into retrograde, I think there's a little bit of humbling that will happen. This is going to happen on the 17th. Mercury goes direct in Libra in your 2nd house. So this is about, you're probably valuing the wrong things. There's probably an overconfidence in what you're valuing. You know, for you, it could be money. I see that money is very important to you, and status and work ethic is very important to you. But working as hard as you do and striving for the actual material possessions for you, you're finding that people probably aren't valuing. What they're valuing is your weakness and your soul and the balance that you bring their lives. I mean, there's There's a sense of taking a look at materially what you value and what you place value on, and understanding that people don't actually place value on that. They actually place value on how strong you are because you've overcome so much, and they admire that, and it's taking on the responsibilities of the day-to-day task and of the routine, and there's a simple pleasure in that. People will admire that probably more than your need to work like a dog and to help a company get to the next level, and that really embellishes your ego. I want you guys to not get caught up in I want you to get caught up in the vulnerability of the actual human being you are, the essence that you are, not the mutable quality that you become when somebody says for you to do something and you do it and you excel in it and then you get that pat on the back. That's actually not where you need to have your soul growth go. Where you need to have your soul go is through idealizing a situation and getting that internally, the deepest parts of you, psychologically getting yourself on board with how you appear to others. So yes, you can have this confidence, you can have this new beginning, it can revamp you, it can give you the strength to pursue some of this inner turmoil that I absolutely see you going through. Thank you so much for tuning into your Venus direct energy horoscope, and I look forward to talking to you guys again in the next astrological event. Hi Libra, this is your energetic reading for Venus going direct for you specifically in your 11th house. And so I see a lot going on with you in this particular astrological event in your Libran energy. And the biggest thing that I see is that, of course, you are a person who always strives for balance and perspective. And I think that you are at the point in your life, especially with all these Pluto-Uranus squares, I think that you are on board with where you energetically want to be. And I think you are seeking a higher purpose, and you are finding the peace that you want between your internal authentic purpose and your emotional balance. I do think that there is something that tugs at you that makes you question exactly where you are at. I think it is almost like there's this thorn in your side. But for the most part, I think that you are looking at that as a learning curve and a learning experience, and you're elevating your thinking in that particular area. I think that you're starting to see the fruits of your labor as far as with friendships. Friendships are starting to provide you with the stability that you need. It is a very slow process. It's very hard for you to let people in. You're very hesitant emotionally to allow somebody to truly know you. You do have many admirers, and they do seek you out, and you have a lot of superficial friends, but it is very few that you actually choose to highlight your life and to enrich your life, and that's a big deal. You know what I see? You're still carrying the burdens of others. You're still the strength in your relationships. You're still the one that is helping people persevere. And that is kind of a monkey on your back. I'm not going to lie, for you in your friendships and in your, Saturn is going to be in your 3rd house for the next couple years, and Jupiter is in your 12th house for the next year. So for you, I think, and this solar eclipse that's coming up is in your 12th house. So for you, I think you're just, you know what, psychologically the strength is waning. I think you want somebody to hold you up the way that you hold them up. And I think there's a balance that needs to be strived for in that type of a relationship. If you're in a relationship where you're the strength in the relationship, you're the one that's always seeking the light, you're the one that's always pulling them along, I think that can get really frustrating psychologically. And you're exploring the fact that they're, the underlying issue is the fact that, there's a lot of opportunity right now in your friendships. There's a lot of people that can provide you with the stability that you seek, and the life that you want, that idealized life, that life that gives you all of the riches. I'm talking the stability as well as the financial attainment, the beauty, the resources that you need to get ahead. So I think you're weighing out, do you want that wounded soul to be your life mate, to be your partner, when there's so many opportunities that could make your life a whole lot easier? I think that's something to be weighed. I think there are times when you deny where you're at and you look at it, and I'm going to say that for some of you, alcohol plays a role, or the parting or the good life is overcoming some of the opportunities. So you're looking at this life, it's easy, it's sustainable right now, it gives you financially what you want, you have friends, you have opportunities, but you're not really taking a look at them. There's too many, and you have something easy in your life, so you're going to take it. But there's an imbalance, I want to say, in that, and I think that you know it, and I think that you see it. And I think that you want somebody who's psychologically on the level that you are of enlightenment, but I think this person has so much going on with where they're at that they can't get on board with where you're at. So I think that this whole Venus direct thing for you is going to be my relationships, my friendships, the way that I socially appear to others. I mean, where is that leading me? Is that leading me on the level of financial fortune? Is it leading me on building a strong foundation? I really have, if I really just take the opportunity, I really do have what I want, but is it actually what I want? Or are there other opportunities that could get me something better? And I think this is a deep, deep psychological process. I think you've endured a lot of painful relationships who took advantage of you and manipulated your kindness. And I think for some of you, that's very difficult for you to face. And, this is a re-identifying yourself point in your life. And this is also a deeply, deeply personal journey that you are on to seek ultimate balance in your life. So that's what I see for you with this Venus goes direct. I look forward to talking to you guys again in the next astrological event. Hi Scorpios, this is your Venus direct forecast for Leos, and for you guys, this is all going to be going down in your 10th house. And for you, your 10th house has to do with your career, life path, destiny, and where it is going from this point moving forward. So I think you're looking at the simple things in life. You're appreciating them. You're valuing them. But I think I know that you guys know that there's a higher purpose for you. This is something that could have something to do with your ego, being able to replenish your ego. I know that you're idealizing love. For you, what I'm sensing is there's a lot of movement in moving forward, but you're not there yet. You're not quite there yet when it comes to Venus. So Venus is the planet of love and pleasure, romance, partnerships, and sharing your life with somebody. And so you're not quite there. You are idealizing something. You know exactly what you want at this time. There's a balance between where it can get you, as opposed to what you can give your partner. I think you understand what you want at this point. It needs to embellish your ego and make you feel superior and make you feel in control of your future, and that you have a specific purpose for it. And there is a sense of it has to be something that sexually charges you and plugs you in and makes you feel tempted enough to want to endure the pain and reality of love. But it needs to meet your monetary needs, meaning that, it needs to, it's a new beginning in the fact that you can elevate your lifestyle. So you have a big, big order for love. Love means a lot to you. So for that next romantic endeavor to elevate your status, elevate your life path destiny, this is a person that you have very strong boundaries, and you have set them, and the parameters are there, and you know what you want. There's no more gray area for you as far as in what you have placed value on, and inevitably this goes back to the basics. Do they provide mental stability for you and a pleasure for you that can be attained through love and just a generosity in spirit? I definitely see that for you. So there's a lot going on in, I think, because on the 17th, Mercury goes into retrograde in Libra in your 12th house. This is a deeply psychological. You have been diving deep in exactly what you want for partnerships, love, and romantic endeavors and creative perspectives. So for you, it needs to definitely pay off. Whatever you do needs to pay off. It needs to come from the heart. It needs to come from the soul. It needs to set an example. It needs to motivate. It needs to elevate people. And it needs to embellish your ego. There's a lot that's going on in this Venus going direct in Leo thing for you. But at the heart of all of this, I think that it is somebody that plugs you in, motivates you, tempts you sexually, motivates and stimulates your senses, because you're Scorpio. Everything has to sexually motivate your intention and the reality of your situation. And I really honestly believe that there's no gray area. Like, you know exactly what you want and what you need from this. Saturn is going to be working in your second house. So for you, this is about getting what you want. This is about you've placed enough value to not settle for it anymore. You tempted yourself. You understand. You've worked with all of these different dynamics, and you now know what you want. So it's about setting forth and placing enough value, which you already have, to get what you want. And you're going to be dealing with that over the next few years. And then Jupiter is working in your 11th house. So to me, this suggests that somebody close to you, a friend, somebody that you befriend, somebody that you value greatly, is going to provide you the psychological and emotional support to get you to the next level. Hi Sagittarius, this is your Venus direct forecast specifically for you, and Venus goes direct in Leo in your 9th house. So for you, this is about the journey. This is about the ultimate journey. This is about expansion. This is about a Jupiter experience for you. And so for you, you are feeling you are struggling with the strength to persevere. I don't know why, but my eyes were just drawn to strength. And so the strength of this comes from an unyielding need to explore all aspects of you. So you are taking a look at this 9th house is your deal, is your expansive experiences, how you identify yourself. It's sitting on your throne. It's gaining the power that you need. It is fire. It is perseverance. It is absolute and understanding of the world that you know. So your world is ever changing, and the influences that are going on, especially Saturn is going to be going back into Sagittarius this month in your 1st house. So this is changing everything that you have defined yourself as. So your throne, you're sitting firmly on your throne. You have a firm understanding of where you're at, but And I think that for the most part, metaphysically, I think you're on board with where you want everything to go. And this really goes back to what you seek pleasure in and how you seek pleasure, but on a not on a perspective of, you just need to feel good and to get ego-based needs met. This goes back way back for you, back to when life was simple and when you were energetically connected at the highest. So you're taking a look at that, and you know that you are at a threshold and that you are at a new beginning and that you are in a leadership role to guide others to have their cup runneth over. So for you, I think in this ninth house perspective, you are going to be a great teacher. You are a role model. You are setting the example and you are becoming a leader, a definite leader. Many of the great astrologers that are on YouTube that are having the highest views, all of them are all Sagittarian. And so they are becoming leaders and they are honing their craft and they are becoming more and more in tune with the route that they're choosing. I know that for me, Sagittarius is in my 7th house. So for me, it's how I'm appearing to others. It is listening to others. It is honing my craft to others, and it is allowing me to communicate effectively for others. So there's a growth in that. So, I think love is on the forefront of your mind, and finding strength in love and vulnerability and I mean, I think there's such a genuine need for you to help others, stimulate others, show them your vulnerabilities, and to make you the light that guides them and keeps them strong. I always think of Christina Aguilera when she does that song about how she has to let somebody go that she loves. That song nurtured me and helped me stay strong during points in my life where I needed to let go of somebody that I idealized. And so, you know, Sagittarians are very forefront in the movement to move forward in Sagittarius. If you're not even Sagittarian, you just have a Sagittarian moon or a rising, there's something special, a metamorphosis that you're going to go through. And it has to do with how you outwardly appear. So you are going to be something that motivates others. You're going to be something, Francis, stop. Not on camera, please. So for most of you guys that are feeling this need to, like, you know, really stop making me fucking laugh. I can't do this on camera. You're seeking a power within inside of yourself. This is getting your first house, how you outwardly appear, to mentally be what you feel on the inside, elevating your thinking. And this has to do with your career, life, past destiny. You are going to be a tremendous form of strength if you can hone it, and you can take all this metaphysical strength that you've learned through suffering and through endurance, and you can motivate others and you can stimulate them and you can get them to attach to the strength that you currently have. Hi Capricorn, this is your specific energetic reading for Venus going direct in Leo in your 8th house. 8th house is the house of transformation. It's also the house of death, but it is the house, and it's the house of sexual intimacy. So there's a lot that ties into this specific house. So for you, it's in Leo. So this talks to me, if I was just looking at the house alone, it would be about passion, endurance. It would be about energetically connecting you in. It would be about pride, making you persevere and transform. I mean, there's a lot that goes into that. So this is about probably a sense for you that you are becoming overconfident and almost kind of on the cocky side of things. You are storming into battle, you are setting and you are leading by example, but you may be getting boastful. Beware of that. Beware of the fact that ego can fall at any time, and you don't want it to make you fall on your ass. Like, you had all these Pluto-Uranus squares specifically guiding you into being a leader, a humble leader, because it took away some of your power, or how you defined yourself socially as well as mentally. So don't let it be the life-defining moment. Mercury goes into retrograde in Libra in your 10th house. So this has to do with, that's why I say that the ego might be becoming a little overconfident. You might be defining yourself by the actual outside triumphs, and you might be becoming a little bit overconfident. So I want you to be very aware, because you always have to be mindful of your inner strength. And if you're defining yourself by outside acceptance, social status, then there's that danger of losing the inner strength once somebody smooshes it or doesn't agree with you. So let that happen. I think for most of you, you are on a journey of taking a look at yourself internally, and you are on this personal experience with finding inner strength no matter what. So there is a confidence. I think you're aware of how cocky and overconfident that you can become, and how boastful and how ego-oriented that you can become. So for the most of you, I think you're going to humble all of this down, and there is a transformation happening within you to seek power in being humble and a noble leader, and finding the strength to endure amidst your ego struggle. There is a sense that you are looking forward. You are looking forward with optimism. There is opportunity and there is expansion, and you are simplifying what you need. This is based on tangible earthly things and not so much on the social status and the acceptance of masses. Although I think you desperately seek the acceptance of masses and you want to stand up as a role model, there is internally already a piece with seeking balance in basic things. Now, I think you still suffer from letting go of the control in your life. Control is a big deal with you. This is 8th house stuff. So this is, the 8th house has to deal with the death of letting something go. So you are holding on to something. You are mising something. You are being overzealous in something, possessive and controlling in something. So you are still dealing with control aspects in your personality. And that specifically has to do with how you love and seek pleasure. And so I think that there is a need for it. Like, say if you were a person that wanted to share, that you were in a relationship and you didn't want to share your resources because you didn't want to let that person know that that was something that was important to you. You're not willing to let go of the tangible goods that you have built and share your resources. Or if you do share your resources, it's very limited as to what you give versus what you hold on to. So I think there's definitely a need to let go of the need for ultimate control over others and over perspectives and over how others see you. I think you're not really super confident in, Saturn's in your 12th house here. And so for you, you're not really confident yet in letting go some of the psychological baggage that you have. You're holding on to it, holding on to old wounds, psychological issues. And for the next couple of years, you're going to be exploring why you want to hold on to those and not let those go. I think for many of you, there is an ultimate purpose for you. You understand it. There's soulmates all around you. There is possibly twin flame connections that you have, and they are helping you grow and expand your mindset. And, but there's this need, I think there's this need for risk-taking and overindulgence that's still preceding your life and distracting you from the ultimate purpose. So I think there's a lot of growth that you're going to have and you're going to experience for the next year to 2 years. And so for you, that's going to be, so Jupiter for the next year or so, it's going to be in your 9th house, and then Saturn's going to be in your 12th house. So for you, the way that you deal with all of this interpersonal journey and the strive and the psychological process is to overindulge. So I still think many of you are overindulging, having too good of a time. And you seek a lot of gratification from and value through others, but I think there's a higher purpose to all of that sometimes those people can distract you of. So this is stuff you weigh out. This is your own personal journey. This is what you're dealing with specifically with this astrological aspect, and it will get better as you go along this journey for the next year or two. Hi Aquarius, this is your Venus energetic report for Venus going direct in Leo on the 6th, and for you, this is happening in your 7th house. So you are actually having one crazy, mind-blowing experience with these next few years. So for you, so the solar eclipse is going to be happening in your 8th house, and Mercury is going direct, Mercury's going into retrograde in Libra in your 9th house. Jupiter's going for the next year. It's going to be in your 8th house in death and transformation, and Saturn's going to be working in your friendship sector, and that's going to be for the next couple of years. So we have a lot of dynamics to consider when Venus goes direct in your 7th house. It's the house of others. It's where you fall, but that's also where you actually fall in love. So there's a lot to take a look at. So the underlying issue is you are looking at transformation in you can't let go of something. There's a chaos in holding on to the familiar for you. You have opportunities, but you would rather keep the dysfunction because the dysfunction is familiar with you. So it's like you understand the pain, and you know how to control the pain, so you feel that your ego is tied into redefining that person or that situation and keeping you're stuck almost kind of in that. And there's a familiarity in that, and there's a need to stay there. You're looking forward, there's more. Psychologically, there's more, but there would be a depth to that relationship and a loss, and many of you may have some sort of abandonment issue associated with that. So there's a lot that's going on in this particular reading, and a lot that I want to talk about with you. So for you, this has to do with relationships on the deepest levels, on a transformative level. I think there's the promise of family. There's a promise of happiness. There's the light and the dark that is in this energy. So you could be the light. That person could be the dark. It's like you want what you want, and there's darkness, but it's right at your fingertips, and you're struggling with overconfidence that you can conquer this, that you have it. This person is at a point to where you can control the situation and control them. I mean, I don't think the illusion lies that there actually is no control over others, and that your overconfidence is not based on reality. You are living in a lot of delusion at this point. So the transformation over the next year for you is the death of your confidence level, the death of your ego, the death of knowing that you can conquer and you can control how others think, and that you can get your outcome. That's the death that you're going to be experiencing. The rebirth of that is a new beginning, a simpler outlook, a balanced perspective to anticipate that that darkness is there, and that you are light, and that you're going to associate enough pain with this particular, I want to say almost delusional outlook to want to change it. So look, Mercury goes into retrograde in Libra in your 9th house. There's going to be an awakening. There's going to be an experience that really sets the tone for how you simplistically look at getting the ultimate happy ending. There's a lot of energy in ego, and the ego dying enough for you to let go of things that are dysfunctional and not working for you. and for you to start a new beginning in your day-to-day thinking, your regimens, and in how you set up routines and how you empower yourself, especially when it has to do with love and romance, and in how you seek power, where you let your power go, and where there needs to be a death of something for a transformation of something. I absolutely, undyingly see that. Hi Pisces, this is Annette, and this is your Venus energetic reading for the month of September, and this is specifically designed for an energetic reading for this particular energy shift. And for you, Venus is going direct in Leo in your 6th house, so that suggests that's routine, that's mental health routine, well-being routine, as well as work routine. And I have been preaching a mighty preach about adjusting your coping skills, so to me this probably is going to be speaking of that. So you have a dream at this point. You have a big dream. You have a new wish. You have a new motivation. You have everything is at your fingertips, and you are going to be making a very significant change in your life that is setting the life path destiny for a very long time. There is an old wound that you definitely deal with. It is a falling of an idea of the fact that, you know, there is pain associated with this specific thing that happened into your life. And I like to look at all the energies at play when this happens. So during this month, Jupiter is going to go into your 7th house. So this is about partnerships for the next year. You're going to be really experiencing a growth and an expansion in partnerships, and you're going to be struggling for the next couple of years in your career life path destiny. So for you, so there was this significant painful experience that happened in relationships, and it's left you with a lot of baggage that you carry, a lot of wounds, a lot of feeling like you need to overcome at insurmountable odds, and you're determined to do it to get what you want. And I think the problem is the denial aspect in you that makes you not face the fact that there is some significant struggles that are ahead of you. You're idealizing something and you're looking at it in the best case scenario. There is a support system that you have in place that you are relying on. It is love-based, it is heart-based, and there is a sense of optimism and a sense of making your life easier. There is a sense of getting you recharged, and you are plugged back in, and you are feeling good, and you want to prove that you are somebody that somebody can count on, and that there is a significant, when you share resources with somebody, when you unite, because Mercury goes into retrograde in Libra in the 8th house, there is a sense that you feel like you're going to get ahead in your career life path destiny. You're going to stabilize your situation by making this giant committed relationship function and happen for you, and setting up powerful routines. But I think deep down there's an underlying issue of vulnerability, of pain associated with a burdensome thing that you're taking on, and that, you know, you need it to be very simple for it to give you what you need. But I think you're putting aside what you need for the bigger picture, for the prettier picture. So you're looking at the pretty picture, but you're not thinking psychologically how this will impact you. That will absolutely be the struggle moving forward, especially in your day-to-day routines. How much is this going to take from you if you take on this burden of uniting and making your life flourish in an area of an idealistic dream? Like, what is it going to take from you, especially in just basic monetary value? Like, is it going to take something from you that you're holding so dear? And that's just basically that's the absolute peace and tranquility that you have at this time. There is a sense of transformation happening for you. There's a death to something. There's a death to past pain. There's a death to past burden. There's a death to like holding and misering, and not letting go of the simplistic parts of life, and combining your life and learning how to think as two as versus one. So I think there's a lot that's going to go at play for you, and for you this is a big transformation in relationships, how you see relationships, the boundaries you even put on relationships. I mean, you're going to put strong boundaries so that you don't have pain, or are the relationship boundaries that you currently have, are they unrealistic? It's all about meeting your needs so that you can avoid pain and avoid burden. And is somebody just there meeting your needs only? So I think you'll be struggling with the balancing of that. You'll also be struggling with the fact, is it meeting your immediate purpose, meaning tranquility, releasing expectation, a nice lifestyle, and a letting go of idealizing something that primarily may or may not totally pay off. I think you're at a point where you're at peace and you're adding a lot of complication to it. And if you do, what is the actual fallout? How much do you lose control of all of these things that you just got a hold of in your life? I think you'll be feeling that deeply. I think if you set up some healthy routines and you let relationships show you a new method of thinking, and if you embark on it, I think you're going to seek balance. But I do think that it's the deal here that I see is you're trying to let go of ultimate control over your situation and make that situation be what you need, but not at the betterment of both people involved. This is placing enough value on others. That value needs to be the same that you place on others as it is on you. So there's a balancing in both perspectives. And I think that's a struggle that you will have this month. It's definitely when Venus goes direct, it will be about setting up healthy routines and letting go of some of the past pain so that you can build new routines that will inevitably strengthen and empower your life. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to Annette's Astrology Corner for your energetic reading for this astrological event. And I look forward to talking to you guys again next week.